After a year unlike any other, it's North Texas versus Western Kentucky in the CUSA Championship. The Hilltoppers look to avoid leaving the Star crestfallen again. Bearden takes it. Follow. Who's got it? Green eyes the clock. Green lets it fly. Nails it! And Western Kentucky, second straight year, loses in the Conference USA title game. Standing in their way, the Mean Green. Last year's regular season champion didn't get a chance to back up their title. Ready for their moment. You talk about mean! Can the Toppers' all-world talent finally get his team over the hump? Bassey rejects it. Charles Bassey muscles his way towards the championship game. So the stage is set. Who will shine on at the Star? From the Star in Frisco, Texas, you're watching the Air Force Reserve Conference USA Championship. The North Texas Mean Green from down the road in Denton against the Western Kentucky Hilltoppers back in the Conference USA Championship game again. North Texas, the 3 seed out of the West. A grind-out win over Louisiana Tech. Western Kentucky tops UAB to make it back to the title game. With Avery Johnson, I'm Carter Blackburn. Conference USA is a terrific basketball league, but Avery, when you reach the title game this year in 2021, it's pretty clear. One of these teams is going to be a champion and move on to the madness. One team does not.
And this is no disrespect to North Texas, but tonight's game is all about the fresher, deeper, tougher team with the best player in the conference, Charles Bassey, Western Kentucky, whether they're going to be able to prevail tonight.
Well, Rick Stansberry's Hilltoppers have made it to the championship game for the 3rd straight time. Last year, of course, canceled, but it has been a terrific run after the successful tenure at Mississippi State. Now it is 5th season with the Hilltoppers. But the losses to Marshall and Old Dominion, a healthy and tough Charles Bassey looking to change that result tonight.
Yeah, Bassey is just so talented. He's a multiple effort player. You can see him here on the offensive glass. He's tremendous at playing with his back to the basket. He's a much improved three-point shooter. Just fun to watch.
Now, North Texas struggled at the end of the regular season because they didn't play great defense. They have reversed that trend here in the Conference USA tournament, which is why the Mean Green are playing for a championship tonight. They have locked in, but now it's 4th game in 4 days.
Yes, and I think at the end of the day, their defense is stout. Grant McCaslin has them playing incredible defense, and that's what they're going to need tonight, especially from Javion Hamlet. You know, here's a guy that loves to talk to the coaches at night, at midnight, to say, what can I do to get better? But when he gets down here to his left hand on the middle of the floor, he's hard to control, hard to contain, and he's a power player going to the basket from the guard position.
Either the Mean Green or the Hilltoppers join a proud championship basketball tradition, shining again the Conference USA Championship.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Air Force Reserve. Explore your opportunities with the Air Force Reserve. By Kubota. Together we do more. And by Werner, the official ladder of NCAA March Madness.
And at the end of the night, which one of these teams will be climbing the ladder to cut down the nets here in Frisco and move on to Indiana as part of the 2021 NCAA tournament field? Grant McCaslin, 4th season as North Texas head coach. Last year's Conference USA Coach of the Year. They beat Western Kentucky for the regular season title. This will be the first time they meet this season. Tonight's Kubota starting lineups McBride plays a bigger role for North Texas. James Reese hoping to get the shooting touch back. Carson Williams quiet in the semis, but it is all about Charles Bassey in the middle. For Rick Stansbury, now in his 5th season at Western Kentucky, lost the championship game in 18 and 19. This will be their 3rd straight title game appearance in Conference USA. And Davion McKnight, terrific in the semifinal versus UAB. And Avery, he's going to play a big role at both ends of the floor tonight for the Toppers.
And especially at the defensive end, because when he's matched up with Javion Hamlet, that's pay-per-view type of television to watch those two guys go at it, because McKnight is an outstanding, strong defender. And it's going to be a battle of wheels to see if he can slow Hamlet, especially when Hamlet wants to get back to his left side, because that's when he's so dominant.
This will be the first matchup between Javion Hamlet, last year's Conference USA Player of the Year, and Charles Bassey, this year's Conference USA Player of the Year. Last year when they met, Bassey was injured. 2 years ago when Bassey was a freshman, Hamlet was still in junior college. So this is an anticipated championship game matchup. Western Kentucky versus North Texas for the Conference USA Championship and a spot in the NCAA tournament. Off the opening tip, there's McKnight, Presensfeld already defensively.
Just curious to see how Bassey's going to be moving early in the game compared to yesterday. He struggled a little bit. He was scoreless in the first 10 minutes of the game. So let's see if he can get off to a faster start tonight.
Bassey has dealt with back injuries since December. There's Hamlet getting it started. Javion Hamlet. 2 career games against Western Kentucky. He averages 22 points, 9 assists, and he has brought the game to the championship matchup.
If Hamlet makes 3-point shots to go along with his drives, Western Kentucky can be in for a long night.
McKnight misses his first look. Foul on the rebound, spotted by, or out of bounds rather, on the rebound, spotted by Gary Maxwell.
Now, if you notice, Hamlet, when he's matched up with McKnight, he's not even guarding him at the 3-point line. He's sagging off inside the free throw line, basically daring him to shoot.
McKnight off the handoff from Bassey. Kick out, Anderson triple. Can't answer. Fight for the rebound, won by Reese.
Reese was 0 for 5 from the 3-point line yesterday, and Coach Grant McCaffrey talked about, him getting it going from the 3-point line. He had a little bit of a hand injury a couple of games back, but he seems to be feeling pretty good tonight coming into this game.
Well, the big question for Western Kentucky defensively, can Davion McKnight, the talented freshman, stay with Javion Hamlet, the 5th-year senior? McKnight gets the personal here. As Rick Stansbury told us, we're going to start off with Davion, and we will adjust from there as we see fit. 4th game in 4 days for North Texas. Western Kentucky had a bye.
McKnight almost picked up his 2nd foul. They don't want him to get 2 quick fouls.
Simmons on Bassey. It looked like Simmons made that adjustment for the shot blocker.
And unlike the game against UAB, when Trey Jemison had problems scoring inside, on the same move, Matt Simmons, he was able to find some success there. And that would be a good way to try to slow down Bassey, is to try to attack him when he's on the defensive end.
And look at Hamlet sagging down to help out on Bassey. He has 3 defenders. Airball, McKnight. Tough start for the freshman, Davion McKnight.
Western Kentucky's better 3-point shooting team is when they insert Rawls and Frampton into the game. Their starting perimeter guys are not as good 3-point shooters.
There's Reese, confident. Off the look from Hamlet. 8-0 North Texas. It's a mean green hot start.
And for North Texas, that's just what the doctor ordered, to see Reese knock down the 3-point shot. We just talked about it a few minutes ago.
Hadn't hit a 3 in his last 2 games. Anderson tries to feed it inside. Turnover, Western Kentucky. It is all North Texas early.
And sometimes you just need to see the ball go in the basket. But nice snap back pass. Defense is paying a lot of attention to Hamlet. He's drawing a lot of attention.
Bassey doesn't have a touch yet. McBride. Bassey keeps it alive into the hands of Hollingsworth.
Yeah, Hamlet missed Simmons on the lob in that situation.
Hollingsworth stops. He's looking for Bassey, but the Mean Green are sucked all around. Big number 23. McKnight opposite. Bassey kept it alive. Williams bumped, play on. It is tough around the rim. And Western Kentucky's going to keep it.
Now, when you talk about advanced analytics and scouting reports, you can see it right here in your very eyes. North Texas basically is daring McKnight to shoot. And Hamlet is playing 2 against 1 on Bassey, especially when he's in the post.
And Bassey's first look comes from the perimeter. Now that's one that Grant McCaslin said they would live with. Bassey outside.
Yeah, Western Kentucky is 0 for 6 from the field. They don't really have a rhythm yet.
Simmons wants it against Bassey. The senior from Abilene. Hook over Bassey. A double-digit lead. 3.5 minutes in for North Texas.
He looked like he had the Hakeem Olajuwon dream shake on that one, big fella.
Simmons playing in his 127th game with the Mean Green. Bassey misses again. North Texas looks hungry.
And you know, we talked about Western Kentucky being a fresher team. Sometimes when you've played 4 games in a row, you know, you're in a really good rhythm. Teams have struggled to practice this year. So now when you played 4 games in a row, you can get in a pretty good rhythm.
Step back, good. 13 straight to get it started. Javion letting them all know he's come to play in the championship game. Ready to dance. Welcome back to the Conference USA Championship presented by Air Force Reserve. It is a mean start. Paramount Plus is here. Live sports, breaking news, and a mountain of entertainment. Paramount Plus. Try it free. North Texas, 3 made threes early, 2 of them from Hamlet.
Yeah, when Hamlet is making threes and North Texas is making threes, Western Kentucky was going to be in for a long night. I think North Texas is saying, this is why we play the games. Don't disrespect us. They talked about being bigger in the biggest moments of the season. I would call this their biggest moment.
And Lewis is ready for the action. That's the veteran of the Memphis police force, Lewis Hamlet, who comes to every North Texas game, drives, ready to celebrate. And when Javion turned to that crowd and was letting them all know he was looking right at his dad, Lewis. We talked to Javion after the semifinal win. He said, so proud to be here doing this in front of my dad. And Hollingsworth turns it over. It's 4.5 minutes in, but when Rick Stansbury said we have to make this a 40-minute game, you kind of felt like he knew there was going to be a push from North Texas. Not sure if 13-0 with this very slow start for the Hilltoppers is anything they had in mind.
Yeah, and maybe a little bit surprising. You know, Coach Stansbury didn't get a timeout earlier, but you know, he really trusts his team, and he's just assuming that they're going to get it together. But the big guys for North Texas is really dominating this game inside.
Usman gets that follow after Hamlet's first miss. McKnight in tight. Turns it over again. McBride on the run out. Has a trailer. Reese McBride rejected. Anderson fouled. Anderson goes to contest, but it's another Western Kentucky turnover, even out of the under-16 timeout. Back-to-back turnovers.
Yeah, and just look for Rawls and Frampton to enter this game immediately, because Western Kentucky perimeter guys, they're just struggling right now with decisions. The last time they're wide open, they don't want to shoot the basketball.
McBride makes it 16-0, and right on cue, Avery, here comes Rawls and Frampton, the shooters off the bench.
And sometimes in these situations like this, you can always focus on the team and what they're not doing right. But we need to give North Texas credit. They've come in here, they're ready to play. They're ready to shoot the basketball. They're very competitive on the defensive end. They've totally neutralized Bassey.
Rawls, the sophomore, and Frampton, the junior, transfer from Davidson, trying to, get off the 0 for the Hilltoppers. It's just stunning to see the 17-0.
And probably the understatement of the game tonight, this game is a long way from being over.
Bassey on the baseline, nearly another turnover. 7 to shoot. Rawls gets a screen from Bassey, down the baseline. Foul with 4 seconds. Looks like Usman picks up the personal foul.
And that's coaching staff talked to us about before the game. They need Rawls to be a playmaker. He's not just a three-point shooter.
Simmons back into the game. Usman gets a break. North Texas is very short on the bench. They're banged up. Simmons is hurt. Reese is hurt. Reuben Jones is out with a hammy. Still over Western Kentucky. Hollingsworth drops it off. Bassey. Miss. Anderson there to follow. First bucket for Western Kentucky.
Sometimes your best shot is a missed shot. You got to go to the glass. And those type of plays can energize a team.
That was one of the big concerns, was the stickbacks from Western Kentucky. Simmons on Bassey.
It's just impressive the way Hamlet's been quarterbacking this game tonight.
Turnover, North Texas.
When you're struggling offensively, you see 3 guys are surrounding Bassey, and that freed up Anderson on the glass.
Wow. The hops, he's known as a defensive stopper, but Josh Anderson out of Baton Rouge got over 1,000 career points, and he's capable of spectacular. Rawls sets it up. There's Frampton in the corner. Simmons couldn't control it, so Rawls, another chance. Anderson around Simmons, draws a foul.
Now you can see the strategy from Western Kentucky. They're not nearly as concerned about North Texas transition deep offense right now. They're sending more guys to the offensive glass because they're struggling to score. Normally it's Bassey inside, Carson Williams when he's in the game, but you can see a couple of more perimeter guys going to the offensive glass now.
Jersey Mike's is the proud title sponsor of the Naismith Player of the Year Award. Join us when we announce the winner on April 3rd, right here on CBS Sports Network. Charles Bassey's going to get a break.
And this is a difference in yesterday's game and today's game. Bassey is struggling. He struggled yesterday because he was a little bit out of rhythm because of the soreness in his back. He's not experiencing, he doesn't look like he's sore or not, he's not moving well. I think this is attributed to North Texas defensive game plan.
Well, 0 for 3 shooting, they've all been face-up. Haven't let him play back to the basket. Anderson has all 4 of Western Kentucky's points after the 17-0 start for North Texas. Hamlet off the bounce, creates, Bell couldn't hang on, so there's another turnover by North Texas.
And 2 unfortunate turnovers, or careless turnovers for North Texas. And when you have a lead and you're up 17-4, that's the worst thing. You want more shots at the basket. You're shooting 75% from the field.
Just get it up. Rawls, Williams, cut off. Frampton picks up the dribble. 10 to shoot. With Bassey on the bench. Rawls back out to Frampton. Sidesteps it, Rawls takes it. Hamlet's hand in his face, and Rawls drills it anyway. It's 7 straight now for Western Kentucky.
When Frampton and Rawls gets it going, you know, these guys were 5 for 12 from the three-point line in last night's game, or yesterday afternoon's game. So that's a very underrated part of Western Kentucky's game. Their bench average is 20 points a game.
Murray off the bounce, good feet inside. Bell with the bucket off the look from Murray.
when you have a guy in Murray that used to be a walk-on and he earned the scholarship, he's always going to be hungry.
10 points in the semifinal win out of Rowlett, Texas. North Texas won the regular season last year. Grant McCaslin said, let's value what we have today rather than using last year as motivation. This is the opportunity we have. Rawls with another three. Jordan Rawls has provided the lift for Western Kentucky, and after it was old Mean Green early, the Hilltoppers are charging back. It was old Mean Green, 17-0 start. But Western Kentucky, eyes on top in the hill. You're watching Bracket Week presented by Kubota. Championship game of Conference USA. It's Mean Green by 9. Our coverage continues tomorrow, 2 Eastern, with the Southland Women's Championship from Katy, Texas. Stephen F. Austin taking on Sam Houston State. Southland strong. Who will punch their ticket to the big dance? Grant McCaslin, last year's Conference USA Coach of the Year, and it is a tremendous coaching job by Grant McCaslin to get North Texas into this position again in 2021.
Yeah, just an outstanding coach, but an even better person. You know, I've been knowing, both of these coaches. I've been knowing both of these coaches for, 7 or 8 years, and I've knew them at their previous stops, and Grant did a really nice job when he was an assistant at Baylor on the Scott Drew staff, and just 2 really good family men. And Grant is a treasure for North Texas to have leading their program.
Played point guard at Baylor, got his start. James Dickey at Texas Tech. This would be North Texas trying to win 4 in 4 days to win the Conference USA for the first time since 2010 when Tom Pender's Houston team. Bell fouled on the dunk attempt. Bassey gets the personal foul after Bell took it right at the big man.
But give Western Kentucky credit. They're on a 10-2 run right now. And
Bassey didn't think so, but regardless, gets the first personal foul. And that's Bassey checking right back into the game, too, after his break. But yeah, to finish that thought, Conference USA back to 2010. Tom Penders in Houston, they won 4 in 4 days. That was his swan song. Won the Conference USA, went to the NCAA tournament, and that was his last head coaching job. And now Grant McCaslin in 2021 trying to be the next to win 4 in 4 days. 3 seed in the West, but they actually have the highest net of any team in CUSA. So that 3 is a bit of a misnomer.
And North Texas, you have to realize that, Western Kentucky has a different team on the perimeter.
There's Bassey's first bucket.
Nice roll by the big fella, 2-hand catch. Man, he's just got unbelievable hands and footwork.
Hamlin against the senior Hollingsworth, who's playing in his 3rd Conference USA Championship game. Hamlin, long 2. Bassey. Kept it alive, Frampton boards it. Hollingsworth nearly threw it into the backcourt.
Look for Western Kentucky to go back into Bassey on the box or some sort of middle pick and roll with Ian Williams and Rawls.
Looks like Hamlet's limping a little bit, too. Something to keep an eye on. Hamlet and Bassey both are limping right now. McBride takes it right, and Bassey around the shot blocker with a tough finish.
Wow, just terrific body control by McBride. Bassey couldn't get there in time. Normally, he neutralized Bassey's shot blocking ability by freezing him on that drive.
Javion Hamlet's wincing. So Murray gets a steal. 3-on-2. There's Javion in tight. Blocking foul is called. And Frampton goes down hard. Hamlet is still wincing as Frampton's on the deck.
Yeah, it looked like he got banged up here with his left knee with Frampton there. Yeah, this is definitely a block. He didn't get there in time.
And now Frampton is still down on the floor, so trainer John Irwin over to check on Luke Frampton, and that will allow Javion Hamlet to get a little attention on the knee as well. Hamlet has injured that knee before in junior college days, but I mean, especially with as short as these benches are, I doubt Hamlet's going to come out of the game at all.
No, he's not coming out.
It looks like the officials are going to the monitor to see if there's anything flagrant on the foul.
And even though Frampton, hasn't scored, the difference with he and Rawls in the game, it creates more space for Bassey to operate. And when those guys drive, because you have to pay attention to Bassey and Williams, they have better driving lanes.
You can see the spill was so hard for Frampton. They're doing all the concussion protocol tests as well.
He hit his head pretty hard. We could hear it all the way over here.
So no flagrant, common foul, and again, the foul was on Frampton, so that's tough. But Javion Hamlet to the free throw line, and I mean, even with wincing and tweaking the knee, Javion Hamlet has been waiting for this moment so long. He's given it his all no matter what. Javion Hamlet, the fifth-year senior out of Memphis Whitehaven High School. No Division I offers, junior college to Buffalo, to a second junior college, and then to North Texas. It was with Jareem Dowling who recruited him, who said Javion was loyal to North Texas even when some bigger names came along to try and get him. Bassey, another miss. Bell nearly tapped it in and then clears it. And then travel. Looked like Bell and Simmons, same, results in the turnover.
And sometime with Bassey, he gets caught in between on that pick and pop. He doesn't know whether he want to pop behind the three-point line or the mid-range, and he was just kind of off balance. Basically, the way Western Kentucky's offense has been tonight, just off balance and out of order.
Bassey 1 for 5 shooting start. Anderson, that's a foul called. Anderson off the curl on a good inbounds play for Western Kentucky.
Oh, Anderson's playing hard. He's relentless going to the basket. Offensive rebound, put back.
And you look at Anderson and Hollingsworth together, the seniors for Western Kentucky. When you go back to the 2018 championship game, Marshall beat them 19, Old Dominion. It goes away in 2020. So these seniors who were playing for the third time in the CUSA championship game, trying to finally get Western Kentucky to the top of Conference USA. They won back-to-back Sun Belt titles in 12 and 13. Those are the last trips for a proud winning basketball tradition at Western Kentucky.
And when Western Kentucky's on their game, they're dominating the free throw line. And they're a really good free throw shooting team, 78% from the free throw line. So, but they got to draw more fouls, and that's predicated on how involved Bassey's on the offensive end.
Here's Hamlet on Bassey. Gives it up, gets it back. And now Hamlet with 4 to shoot. Driving on Bassey. Throws it away into the hands of Jordan Rawls, sending the Toppers on the run. Into Bassey, lost the handle, off of Anderson. Hamlet kept it alive, and now the mean green run. McBride, lob, tips away. Back and forth. Rawls will be rejected at the rim. Bell goes up to get it. End to end, D'ing it up both ends.
Coaching in college for 4 years, you start practices off with these fast break type of drills, and it's all up to the players to make good decisions. And short passes are available in both situations. Sometimes it could be a lob, it's a short pass. But when you can't convert on advantage situations like that, that can become problematic.
Bassey, another miss. 1 for 6 shooting, including 3 from 3. Anderson hustles to grab it in the backcourt, drops it off. McKnight rejected from behind. Offensive foul on Davion McKnight.
think it's a really good call. Whenever you drive to the basket and the defense steps up, you have to play off of 2 feet.
It was a 17-0 start for North Texas, still up by double digits in the CUSA Championship. Bracket Week presented by Kubota continues tomorrow 4 Eastern with the Patriot League Women's Championship. Lehigh takes on the BU Terriers, who will punch their tickets to the big dance. Avery, you told us before this one got started, the Mean Green do it with D, and they have early on.
Yeah, it's style versus substance. You know, when you talk about style, it's about offense, but substance is defense. And the depth of knowledge with this North Texas defensive game plan, the way they've digested this scouting report in such a short period of time in their 4th straight game, just very impressive.
Speaking of colorful spirit, how about Purple Nation and St. Augustine High School, Avery, your alma mater?
My alma mater, state champions. We won the state championship in 1983. We were 35-0, not because of me, because I was very deep on the bench, by the way. But I contributed here and there. But congratulations to Coach Lewis and the St. Augustine High School family.
And tomorrow night on 60 Minutes, the band is featured as well, so huge weekend. And now back to the Javion Hamlet show, because this 5th-year senior is playing with a special urgency in this championship game.
And you really just love his spirit. He's a competitor. You know, he's a guy that can play 40 minutes a game and never really breathes hard.
Another offensive foul. This one's on Tavion Hollingsworth.
So this is the 2nd charge. It was definitely a charge. Really good call. And when I say play off of 2 feet, Carter, that means come to a jump stop. Shot fake, move it. You have to, play at different gears. You can't play at 5th speed every time.
Seems like Coach Stansbury was right there with you when you were talking about it. The frustration of not getting the guys to do it, right? Hamlet, 3 seconds. Has to heave it with the right hand. That would have been a miracle. Bell on the offensive glass to give North Texas a 2nd chance.
Those are the shots that Coach McCaslin is not really interested in. You know, you could take those shots in the summertime.
Bell. Boarded by Rawls. No field goals in over 4 minutes for the Hilltoppers. Bassey calling for it. Denied again. I mean, he's really only touching it on the perimeter. Here he is facing up again. Another miss from Bassey, so make it 1 for 7 shooting for the CUSA Player of the Year, Charles Bassey.
And you can see, again, even with North Texas, Bassey has 3-point range. He knocked down 2 threes in the last game. He's a much improved 3-point shooter. But again, what are you willing to live with? What do you think is going to beat you?
Bassey knocked it away. 2nd chance off the shot fake. Reese drills it.
Reese has a swagger about him tonight that we haven't seen in this tournament. It seems like when he shoots the ball, the rotation on the basketball, he almost can do a Steph Curry and turn around and run the other way.
It's a rested wrist for James Reese, and he's 2 for 2 from 3. And another board from Thomas Bell. It's a 9-2 run now for North Texas after they started 17-0. Hamlet gets a screen from Simmons. Now Reese off the curl. Long 2 off of 1 foot.
Yeah, that's the play that they ran, a little snapback action, misdirection action, try to freeze the defense and then get Reese coming off of a screen. Probably Reese is better spotting up than trying to come off screens, creating his own shot.
Rawls in the corner, gives it up to Williams. Bassey rolling, but there's two defenders right there with them. Bell rips it away. Loose ball somewhere in there, a foul, and it is on James Reese, his first personal.
Sometimes you get a little bit lucky, but nice shot fake by Reese. Reading the defense and just loved it. Look at that energy. You want to tell me that they're not here to win this game? They may be the underdog, but they're here to win this game tonight.
Reese and Hamlet played together at Buffalo, and James Reese was on the team that beat Arizona in the dance. Then Javion Hamlet transferred. They said, hey, what if we can get it back together at North Texas and run it back? Do it again with the mean green. In tight. Williams, there's a big dunk for Carson Williams from Owenton, Kentucky.
Yeah, North Texas, both of their big guys are on the bench and really downsized here, this small lineup. This is a lineup that they're going to try to spread you out, play five guys basically around the perimeter. They're going to try to find the matchup they want, try to force a switch here, get Frampton involved and confuse him, which they just did.
Hamlet with a mid-range floater boarded by Williams. Hollingsworth projects the screen. Bassey outside again. Another miss. This is an air ball. Williams there to bail him out. And one. Old-fashioned inside. Williams on the offensive glass.
You'll see North Texas getting one of their big guys in the bench because Carson Williams says, I know Charles Bassey is going in the first round, but NBA, don't forget about me. I can get it done also.
North Texas from Denton playing right down the road in Frisco, Texas. Double-digit lead. Coming up, AT&T at the half. It is an all-star championship Saturday crew. Adam Zucker, Chris Walker, Gary Parrish, and the great Gillen. Pete Gillen standing by. Get you caught up on everything. How about an NCAA tournament that has Patrick Ewing and Rick Pitino in the field? And now with Jerry Palm's latest projection, this is very good news in the Mountain West Conference with Utah State and Colorado State, according to Jerry Palm, both in right now.
Yeah, very good news for the Mountain West Conference, but I'll go back to something you just mentioned. Congratulations to Patrick Ewing.
How about that?
I know Big John is smiling up there in heaven. He's really excited. Patrick Ewing, the only player to win the Big East Conference Championship as a player and a coach.
It's really remarkable. I saw them at the end of the regular season against UConn, and to think that it was not close. Blowout win for the Huskies. But Patrick Ewing with some extra magic. John Thompson, tribute to the late coach in Madison Square Garden, and the Georgetown Hoyas get it done. Out of the timeout, new look from Western Kentucky. 1-3-1
semi-trapping. They'll pick their spots, and now they rotate into a 2-3 matchup zone.
Javion Hamlet has 10 points for North Texas. It's McBride burying the three off the look from Hamlet. Mardrez McBride.
Wow, this is a different team from the three-point line than we saw him yesterday. Struggled to make a three.
It's only McBride, and then another turnover, Western Kentucky. They're ninth, leading to a run out. North Texas gives it back, and then McBride commits the foul, and Hamlet is upset with himself. So Bassey in the first 10 minutes, the semifinal, it was over. Then he came back with a tremendous stretch, and really that's what Grant McCaslin said he was worried about Charles Bassey, is that there are stretches where he can take over a game. And for Western Kentucky, they're going to need a stretch like that from the big man.
Well, this is the last round of this first half. You know, you break the game down in the 4-minute rounds, and he's got 2 minutes and 32 seconds left in this round to see if he can get some momentum going into the half. Because when he scores in bunches, and that's something North Texas is concerned about.
Bassey wants it down low. Instead, it's Hollingsworth. Long two, Brick.
Outside of the 2 threes that Rawls made, they're not really getting anything easy.
And you credit North Texas for that?
Credit North Texas defense. Only time North Texas has really hurt themselves is with some uncharacteristic turnovers.
Simmons gives a screen. Hamlet floats it and drills it. 12 in the first half for the senior from Memphis, Javion Hamlet.
And you see their strategy offensively also. They want to attack Bassey, whether it's a post-up with Simmons or when plays break down, they'll bring Bassey up in pick-and-roll situations. They want to try to wear him down on both ends of the floor.
An effective strategy because Bassey only 2 points, 1 for 8 shooting. Hollingsworth takes it himself, tough runner. Senior from Lexington, Paul Lawrence Dunbar High School for the last 6. Mr. Basketball in Kentucky, have played for the Hilltoppers and Rick Stansberry.
Got to give Carson Williams some credit. I know he's out of the game, but he kept it close a little bit with those, couple of offensive rebounds and scores there on the other end.
Taken away, Anderson strips it from Hamlet. Frampton in transition. Needed 3 for Western Kentucky.
Well, it looked like after that foul, it might have woke him up a little bit more. He's back. He's back. That's what Coach Stansberry wants him to do, catch and shoot. He's not relying on Frampton to be an assist man.
Simmons forcing Bassey into defending again. Double comes, kick out. Crossover, J.J. Murray tries to give it back. Wasted possession by North Texas, gives the Hilltoppers the last look.
Well, I know we're in the era of texting and social media. We don't communicate as much as a society. Maybe we need to text Murray and tell him to shoot the basketball.
I'll let you send him a DM at the half, Avery. Can the Toppers get it back to single digits? That would be a win before halftime. Hollingsworth floats it. Bell got a piece of it. And now out of bounds. Western Kentucky 2.7. That would be Thomas Bell's second block at 6'6". He is the leading shot blocker, and he attacks.
Now, this is a situation that you practice over and over in practice because it's 2.7 on the clock. They'll probably try to get Bassey on the lob or get somebody moving here to the strong side corner for a shot.
Get Hamlet out of the game so he doesn't get a cheap one. Anderson off the catch. Ooh, right into Bell. That's a play on, and that is the end of the first half.
Yeah, it looked like they missed Bassey on the lob.
A 17-0 start for North Texas. This is the last look. Let's see at the play on to close the half.
Yep. Again, we missed it, but they were trying to get Bassey on the lob. I think that could have been a foul. Looked like he got him on his right hand.
A frustrating first half for Western Kentucky. Only 23 on the board. End of the first half from the Star. After the break, it's Adam and the gang in New York. You're watching Bracket Week, presented by Kubota. You are watching Bracket Week, presented by Kubota. Conference USA Championship game. North Texas got off to a 17-0 start. Still leaded by double digits at the half on Western Kentucky. With Avery Johnson, Carter Blackburn, there's a clear offensive star in the game for North Texas. But Avery, as you pointed out at the very beginning, it was about defending Charles Bassey. Job well done through the first half.
Yeah, job well done by North Texas. Bassey, out of his 8 attempts, he's only attempted 1 shot in the paint. Couple of three-point shots, mid-range shots. He's got to get inside.
Let's take a look at our Werner ladder step up. And there is clearly a man who has stepped up in this game for North Texas.
Yeah, Hamlet, that first 3 really got him going. And then, his teammates joined in on the parade. Love his backdoor cuts. He's just playing with a competitive spirit tonight that he's trying to just lead his team and know that this is it.
It has been a long wait for North Texas, and they came out ready to run the 17-0 start, holding Western Kentucky to just 31% shooting in the first half. North Texas, it has been since 2010 when they won the Sun Belt for Western Kentucky. It was back-to-back in the Sun Belt, 12 and 13. Trying to make it both of these schools for the first time as the champion of Conference USA. It's the third straight Conference USA championship game appearance for Western Kentucky, having lost the last two. Northern Kentucky won the regular season last year with a victory over Western Kentucky in Denton. Then when it was all canceled, Mean Green, woo, how about that? Williams, a little break, got it blocked and still puts it back in.
And see, this is where assistant coaching staffs also come in handy at the half when you're about to make adjustments. They thought about where are we having the most success, meaning Western Kentucky. And their most success has been posting up Carson Williams, who said, hey, I missed the basketball from Kentucky. I'm one of 3 Mr. Basketballs on this team. I can hoop too.
Williams has 6 points, Bassey only 2. McBride drops it off. Williams bothered that shot by Simmons. Both ends, good start for Carson Williams. Transfer from Northern Kentucky. Hollingsworth and one. The Hilltoppers come out fighting to begin the second half.
Now, we talked about how infectious, the leadership on North Texas side is from Javian Hamlet, but now you can see the leadership on the Western Kentucky side is from everybody else not named Charles Bassey. Their philosophy is, look, we're not going to force feed Bassey. We have other guys that we can generate some offense and run some offense through. So let's see if Bassey maybe can get on offensive glass, but they're not going to be as predictable coming down the floor, just trying to isolate Bassey or post him up.
For Hollingsworth and Anderson, it is their third Conference USA championship game. Motivated to finally cut down the nets. Bell cut off by Williams. Hamlet for to shoot. Down the baseline into McKnight. Physical play on. Davion McKnight took a pop. Hollingsworth. Off the window. Bad shot boarded by Reese. McBride thought about it. Back into the hands of Reese. Off the bounce this time. Reese attacks and finds Simmons. Good look.
One major emphasis, 1A on North Texas scouting report and their board before the game obviously was Bassey, how they're going to defend him defensively. But the second 1B was make short passes every time Bassey comes over to block shots.
Charles Bassey misses again. Of his 9 shots in the game, 5 have been 3-pointers.
And even though he only has 6 points, you can just see what a presence Simmons is on the inside compared to yesterday in the UAB game with UAB's inside play.
Bassey boards it. That's just his second rebound. McKnight, long 2 on a quick look.
That didn't look good, unfortunately, when it left his hands. And the entire bench was saying no.
Rick Stansbury's one of his mantras was make some shots. Bassey has the rebound off the Hamlet miss, so a couple of boards on these last 2 trips for Bassey.
Carter, you've gone fishing before?
Yes.
You've used bait?
Yes.
Well, the bait should be when North Texas drive, it should be kickouts every time or short passes, because Western Kentucky's converging, with 2 or 3 defenders. You get to a point of no return.
That's going to hook the big fish?
Hook the big fish. It could be a bass or a speckled trout.
Sometimes use a crawfish as a bait as well, right?
Here it is, short pass, nice pass by Reese. And what a smart decision. They ran Reese off the 3-point line because he's been prolific from behind the 3-point line, but a nice short pass. This is a huge part of North Texas strategy. It's just a matter of whether they can do it consistently.
Western Kentucky's taking it back to single digits. Hamlet, kick to the corner. Here's Reese. Simmons offensive board over McKnight. Simmons, it was touched. North Texas keeps it. Still plenty of time on the shot clock. Reset to 20 after the offensive rebound.
I think the horn went off.
You're right.
On the shot clock, and it kind of threw North Texas off on that possession.
You're right. And so basically inadvertent horn.
Yeah, North Texas is only 1 for 6 this half from the field.
Hamlet, Anderson Early came and picked it. Instead, Reese off the look. Bassey another board. Anderson off the bounce. Hamlet pokes it. McKnight in tight. Around Bell. Davion McKnight.
Beautiful move by McKnight, but nice assist by Charles Bassey. The untraditional assist by setting a screen and creating that driving lane for McKnight. And that's the way McKnight has to play. Get to the basket, use that body.
Foul at the top, and looks like it's on Bassey. It is. Defending Simmons. Second on Charles Bassey.
Here we go. Big fella jamming in there. Oh my goodness! Can you believe this? Anything can happen in March.
The long wait is over. March Madness has returned. All begins less than 24 hours with the selection show tomorrow, 6 Eastern. Then the action tips off. First four on Thursday with Avery Johnson all the way through the Final Four in championship from Lucas Oil Stadium in Indianapolis, only on CBS. Rising and falling, clearly the Hoyas among those rising.
Yeah, and I love this Oklahoma State team. Cade Cunningham, must-see TV. And he's not the potential first pick in this year's NBA draft. He is.
And he's going to do it for a long time.
I've been watching this kid since he was playing with the Texas Titans AAU program here in Dallas.
I'll tell you what, when you think about the winner of this game potentially being a 12 seed, you're like a 5 seed like Villanova having to face Javion Hamlet in North Texas or Charles Bassey in Western Kentucky opening round game. Mark that one in your bracket, because you're seeing right now two very dangerous teams for a 5 seed or potentially a 4 seed. Who knows?
And also with Oklahoma State, Avery Anderson. It's all about guard play. Cade Cunningham and Avery Anderson, wow. Same thing tonight. You know, you look at Hamlin, you know, his first half, and now Western Kentucky's guards getting involved. McBride, he said, say my name, Coach Avery, say my name.
Mardrez McBride, Augusta, Georgia. You said this was going to be a critical round or 4-minute stretch in determining the outcome of this game.
And then I thought the key coming in this game offensively also for North Texas, can they make three-point shots? And they're shooting 60% from the three-point line.
10th Western Kentucky turnover. Hamlet gives it up. McBride. Didn't go as well as the last one. Bell tried to keep it alive, but Hamlet had the assist on that last McBride 3.
Sometime to win, I guess, is blowing in the Ford Center.
And then Javion with Dad Lewis, loving it. When Javion hit the game winner last year at Louisiana Tech, Lewis just couldn't help himself. He ran down to the floor and joined the dog pile there in Ruston after Javion hit it. But it's a family who has been through a lot. Javion, and a great story for the North Texas Daily, said, hopefully one day I'm in a position where I can tell my mom and my family that we never have to worry about anything again. And it is hard not to appreciate the passion and the heart from that young man, making it out of Memphis through 2 stops in junior college, transferring from Buffalo, and he is playing his heart out tonight.
He's what college basketball is all about. And he's going to be successful in whatever he does. Because he's a leader. He's a difference maker. He builds bridges. He brings people together. He's a connector. I saw his dad in the hotel lobby. He said, Coach, I want to give you a hug, but we got to stay 6 or 10 feet apart. I said, you're right. Yes, sir. I don't want that bear hug.
That's excellent protocol from Lewis.
Yes.
5 to shoot here. Here's Javion again. Javion, kick to the corner. Bell has the offensive rebound. Another chance. That is offensive foul. Frampton gets the charge call on Thomas Bell.
If Bell could have been a little bit more patient there, Bassey was coming over to block the shot. Here you can see him right there underneath the basket. He could have made that short pass to Simmons and had an opportunity to score on that possession.
The bait.
The bait.
Down to 8 after Western Kentucky trailed by 17 early. Into Bassey. Simmons pokes it. Charles Bassey gets it back. Hasn't scored in the second half, and it's another turnover. The 11th by Western Kentucky.
Well, in that situation, Hollingsworth has to cut baseline. The old Chicago cut is what they call it. So when you're in that corner, your man's digging, cut baseline. Bassey can hit you for a short pass, or you'll take the defender with you, and Bassey will have more room to operate.
Put it in Hamlet's hands.
Skip pass.
Touched by Rawls and out of bounds.
Now again, you got to watch this lineup with Rawls and Frampton in the game. This is their best three-point shooting perimeter team.
When Western Kentucky made its push in the first half, it was a 12-3 run and 2 made threes from Rawls during that push. That's exactly what they need now. Hamlet 6 to shoot. Takes it. Well short. Air ball. Anderson. He lost it on the baseline. An easy rebound, and Anderson couldn't hang on.
Now going back to Javion's shot, this is what we talked about. 4 games in 4 days. Are they going to be fatigued? And you saw Hamlet, Javion Hamlet, on that last shot. That ball didn't have a chance when it left his hand.
We're going to check the shot clock here. So Gary Maxwell's over to have a look to see if the possession changed. In other words, did Anderson have it or the possession didn't change? Shot clock was reset. Now they put 2 seconds back up for North Texas. So Anderson didn't have possession. It's just a shot clock question. So 2 to shoot here.
And I'm glad they resolved that in 2 seconds.
Right, that's right. It was not one of those, right. Exactly, long reviews and unofficial timeouts.
Look for Reese to come off for a shot.
And there's Reese. Drops it off. Simmons rejected. Anderson blocked it. Shot clock violation. So Western Kentucky was ready to run, but again, you stop it down because it's a shot clock violation.
One of the things North Texas has to get back doing is getting Hamlet going downhill to his left hand. Even though sometimes when you make a 3 or 2 and the basket starts to look a little bit bigger, his strength is getting downhill to that left hand.
Rolls on the wing. Can Western Kentucky make a push? Hollingsworth. Blocked from behind. Bassey there to bail him out. It was touched from behind. Bassey has his first bucket of the second half.
What a fundamentally sound play by the big fella. He didn't bring it down where the guards can strip him. He kept it in the air. He went from being 6'10" to about 7'2" on that play.
First points in 18 minutes for Charles Bassey. From down 17 to 6. And now Simmons, shot faking. Rebound controlled by Bassey.
And our guy Frampton, he got hit in the face again. He's all over the place.
Polka, West Virginia playing tough.
Here's your middle pick and roll in the back screen trying to...
Rolls rejected, swatted away. North Texas on the run. Reese tracks it down, catches, and now Hamlet in the paint. Left it short, Bassey another rebound. 6 boards now for Bassey. Rolls, step in 3. Frampton kept it alive. Anderson hammered by McBride. Anderson hits the deck. Everybody on the floor. It's all passion in the second half in CUSA.
When you're the Conference USA Player of the Year, your team is dependent on you. And Mr. Bassey said, I'm very dependable.
The Conference USA Championship game, part of Bracket Week, presented by Kubota. Mean Green hanging on to a 6-point lead. Our coverage continues tomorrow, noon Eastern, with the Patriot League Championship. The 9-seeded Loyola Greyhounds take on Colgate, who will punch their ticket to the big dance. Bracket Week, presented by Kubota, continues. Before the last time out, Josh Anderson, I mean, everybody on the deck, but Anderson comes up lame after taking that spill.
Yeah, and even though he got hit, looked like with a right elbow in that situation, Frampton made that possible. Luke Frampton, because he came in from the left corner and deflected the ball back out, which made it possible for Western Kentucky, including a right elbow to Anderson, to now retain possession.
And yet, out of the timeout, who's there to take the basketball? Jeb Hartness and inbound it? Josh Anderson, no time off.
And I would be a little bit concerned if I'm North Texas, because Western Kentucky is 6-1 in games that are decided by 3 points or less.
Foul before the shot by Bassey.
So even though they got off to a slow start, if this is a close game, then you probably have to favor Western Kentucky.
And you go back to the conversation we had with Rick Stansbury before the game, saying, hey, it's 40 minutes, it's 40 minutes. They're playing their fourth. We have an extra day of rest. It's going to factor in. Charles Bassey, the junior from Lagos, Nigeria. Only Terry Taylor of Austin Peay and Kofi Coburn of Illinois have more double-doubles this year, and it's all through a back injury. He was sick during the year, coming off a broken leg injury 10 games in last year. But Charles Bassey trying to deliver the elusive CUSA title for the Toppers.
Yeah, and they're on a 6-0 run. We said it's a 40-minute game. We agree with Coach Stansbury. This is a team that I thought also challenged themselves in the non-conference, and I don't know if they were rewarded enough.
No question, and that is offensive foul called on J.J. Murray, his third. Yeah, Western Kentucky had the huge win at Alabama. They played Rhode Island, then they played at Houston at the end of February.
And they added the game.
Right.
They added that game.
Beat Memphis, who went to the AAC championship.
I don't always understand computers, Carter.
I think we can all agree on that one. Sometimes Mercury in retrograde hits us all, doesn't it? Only 5 points on the board in the second half for North Texas. Bassey. Oh, my goodness, here he comes, Avery.
Here comes the Conference USA Player of the Year.
9-0 run, timeout North Texas. The Hilltoppers had whittled it to 1, led by Charles Bassey. Another slow start, but now the big man from Lagos is rolling.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Air Force Reserve. Explore your opportunities with the Air Force Reserve. And by AT&T 5G. Fast, reliable, secure.
A 9-0 run from Western Kentucky. 7 of those points from Charles Bassey.
And the decisions by the perimeter players, how they read and react and the decisions they make, big guys are very dependent on them to make the right play. And Bassey said, don't forget, Coach Avery, I'm also the defensive player of the year in Conference USA, and I have three-point range.
This is the stretch from Charles Bassey that North Texas feared, because 2 points, 0 rebounds, which is hard to imagine. And now already in the second half, 7 points and 6 rebounds. North Texas has 5 points in the second half. North Texas has, or rather Bassey has 7. Trying to figure out what's going on here with on the Western Kentucky bench, with some kind of stoppage.
Did somebody knock over the water cooler?
Oh, that's a classic coaching trick when you need another second, isn't it?
Well, one of these coaches after the game is going to be talking from the quote, "It was a tale of two halves."
There's a former Seton Hall coach, I'm not going to say who is fond of implementing that one in the old Big East days, but I'm not going to say which one. He's now a broadcaster. 7 to shoot. Hamlet gives it up. Here's Reese. 3 to shoot. McBride gets it off. Anderson has the rebound. Western Kentucky a chance to take its first lead of the game.
North Texas with no points in over 5 minutes. And let's give Western Kentucky's defense credit.
Anderson thought about the three. Inside Bassey, why not? Bassey throws it back, Hollingsworth, still time to work with.
Still plenty of time. The middle pick and roll, Bassey will pop because he just made a three.
Hollingsworth can't hit it. McBride has the rebound. Physical around the rim again. Hamlet, last year's Conference USA Player of the Year. Opposite, Bell. Feels like the legs, 4 games in 4 days, is factoring in now for the Mean Green.
Yeah, and when you're open, you don't have to run behind the three-point line. You can, I know sometimes from an analytic standpoint, mid-range shots are not the best shot, but if you're better shooting a mid-range shot, it's better for you to get there to help your team.
Blocking foul is called. Bell slides in to try and get the charge. And that will put Bassey at the line, and now Bassey is down. He's holding his left knee, and he's down on the floor.
I can see why Coach Grant McCaslin is upset.
Yeah.
It looked like Bell beat Bassey to the spot. He wasn't moving.
And it was the trail official who had it rather than Petty underneath the basket. But here's Bassey, a chance to give Western Kentucky the lead. From 17 down, even at 39, keyed by Charles Bassey. It's now a 10-0 run, 8 from Bassey.
And you got to remember, to start this game, North Texas, they were up, what, 13-0? 15-0? 17-0 to start the game.
There is Mio Stansberry, who was all alone with a cardboard cutout mascots, Rick Stansberry's wife, and a lifelong hooper and hoop fan. And now she's trying to root on Western Kentucky. It's an 11-0 run, with 9 of those points from Charles Bassey. Bell off the bounce. Bassey blocks it.
In that situation, Bell, you're going to lose. Play pick and roll.
Bassey offensive board. Misses the stick back. How about a third chance? Kick out, triple. Big rebound by James Reese.
And it started in the end of the first half when Western Kentucky was struggling. They were sending more players to the glass, and they've continued that. It's going to put pressure on North Texas for all 5 guys to block out.
Almost 7 minutes without scoring. Hamlet hasn't scored in the second half.
And North Texas is going small here with Bell at center. He's going to have to make a shot.
Long rebound taken by McBride. Second chance for the Mean Green.
Yeah, Bassey's not going to, he's not going to leave the paint when Bell is behind the three-point line.
Western Kentucky has outscored him 17-5 in the second half. Hamlet, blocked by Hollingsworth. Bell can't bail him out.
So now the same way North Texas was basically playing off of McBride and daring him to shoot, Western Kentucky is doing the same thing.
Bassey, there's a foul underneath the basket as Bassey misses the 3, but it's a foul on North Texas. From 17 down early, Western Kentucky by 1. Welcome back to the Conference USA Championship presented by Air Force Reserve. Western Kentucky has some unfinished business here because you go back to 2018, it was Justin Johnson. They were down late in this one. Huge rally, but then Marshall hangs on to win it in the end. Next year versus Old Dominion, it's Western Kentucky back in the title game. Jared Savage and the Hilltoppers. ODU Xavier Green, Ahmad Caver playing spoiler, and Western Kentucky leaves the star crestfallen for the 2nd straight year. No championship in 2020, back in the championship game in 2021, and it has been a totally different second half for Western Kentucky and for North Texas.
Yeah, significant scoring drought for North Texas, and that's problematic. There are different cycles of the game. They've missed 12 straight field goals.
Williams gets the front end. Now that's Josh Anderson, who left during the last time out. You see the bandage on the left elbow. So trainer John Irwin having a very busy night for Western Kentucky. Anderson out of the game for now.
Yeah, North Texas they've been outscored 19-5 in the second half. This is a different Western Kentucky team.
Now can the Mean Green rally? Hamlet hasn't scored in the second half. Simmons backing in on Bassey. Spins, shot fakes. Bassey bothers it anyway and gets the rebound.
And it seems like it's either been a highly contested shot or a turnover or a charge when North Texas drives to the basket. They haven't gotten any clean looks.
Double-double for Bassey. All the rebounds in the second half. Williams almost... Bell blocks it. It was almost an assist for Bassey, but Caslin wants the Mean Green to push it while Western Kentucky's not set.
Yeah, looked like Carson Williams got fouled on that last play.
Hamlet hits the deck, keeps it alive for Simmons, and now Hamlet's hobbled. Simmons around Bassey again. Finally, the drought ends for North Texas. 8.5 minutes without scoring, and yet it's just a one-point game.
It looked like Western Kentucky's trying to go to Williams a little bit more inside and picking and popping with Bassey. And now we'll see if they're going to double team Williams.
High-low Williams. Bell clears it.
Maybe Western Kentucky should move Williams to the other box so that he can shoot over his left shoulder and use his dominant hand, because he's come up short with his left hand the last two possessions.
Pick and pop, Bell off the shot fake. He's trying to break down Williams. Draws two. Reese couldn't catch it. Simmons with Bassey again. Foul inside. It is on Charles Bassey. Contact to Simmons' head. Third personal on Bassey.
Yeah, excellent call. Got scraped across the face there when he turned in face.
Back into the hands of Hamlet.
I wonder why are the fans behind us so disappointed when the referees make a really good call.
You know, it's funny, as the Gary Maxwell said, it feels good to hear the boos again. Bell out of bounds to Western Kentucky.
And see, it's a little bit of a dilemma here for Coach Grant McCaslin, because he needs Bell defense, especially against Carson Williams, but then offensively, the spacing just isn't there when they're struggling to make threes. But in the last game, he was 0 for 4 from the three-point line, and just really need to see one go through the basket.
Anderson back in the game for Western Kentucky. Williams heads to the bench. Bassey playing with 3 fouls. Rolls off the screen from Bassey. Frampton. Now 7 to shoot. Anderson right off the bench and drills it. Game ready, Josh Anderson. A 16-2 run, and Western Kentucky trying to take command.
All the way from Baton Rouge, Louisiana.
McBride fouled on the way in.
Josh Anderson, they were going to live with this three-point shot, but then he made the defense pay. And then Miss Stansberry, Miss Mio.
The Hilltoppers' biggest fan. I love it. Everybody in the section is the mascot cutouts except for Mio.
It's amazing the price that wives have to pay.
Hey, you know better than anybody.
Woo! I got a much happier home right now, by the way.
Ooh, the intensity. With Noah on the Western Kentucky bench as well. Isaac's playing for Mississippi State, Rick Stansbury's last head coaching stop. McBride into Simmons. Anderson digs down. Bell has it. Eyeing the shot clock. Bell takes it. Simmons offensive rebound. Simmons rejected by Charles Bassey emphatically.
And the big fella had 9 blocks in the last 2 games. You know, he's capable of coming from anywhere. This game means a lot to the big fella. That's when you need that shot fake. You know where he is. If he's not in front of you, he's somewhere.
North Texas has made only 1 field goal in the second half. Reese Second chance again. Another offensive rebound. Simmons. Hamlet. Not even going down for Javion Hamlet.
And if I'm Hamlet, I wouldn't allow the defense just to dictate and try to force me right. I'm gonna get to my strong side, left hand. Maybe the referees will call a foul, but they're definitely trying to force him right in the middle of the floor.
Hollingsworth penetrates. Triple, McKnight. Bell has the board. Hamlet, oh, he slips and falls. Looking for a call, nothing doing. So now kick to the corner, Reese. Bell.
Nice pass.
Simmons gets Bassey in the air with a shot fake. The foul will be the 4th on Charles Bassey off of the shot fake. So North Texas struggling through the second half, but they still have a chance with 3:37 to go. Only 7 second-half points for North Texas. Western Kentucky by 4. Time now for the Air Force Reserve play of the game so far. This is Josh Anderson getting tangled up with Mardrez McBride. So Anderson has to leave the floor. But as soon as he is back, huge triple for the Hilltoppers.
I heard a motivational speech recently that was entitled "A Setup. A setback is a setup for a comeback." He had a couple of setbacks. It set up Anderson an opportunity to come back, and he came back and knocked down the 3.
And this has been a remarkable comeback from Western Kentucky. I mean, we talked about how they've dominated the second half, but this was a 17-0 start for North Texas. So it is coming back from double-digit down, and yet it's still out there with 3:37. Tough getting it in bounds. North Texas does get it.
And this is the time of the game where you rely and you think about some of those situations in practice where it was a grueling drill and who's going to quit, who's going to give up, who's going to give in. You can refer back to some of those times in practice. When your body's fatigued and you're worn out, how are you going to respond?
Simmons on the repost against Williams. McKnight looks to dig down. Shot fake, kick out. Taken McBride. Bell hits the deck. Anderson hits the deck. Western Kentucky controls it.
Now, where is Western Kentucky going to go offensively with Bassey out of the game? Are they going to play through Carson Williams? Get McKnight driving, getting downhill?
Anderson. Oh, did he get fouled? He did. Foul called on Bell, sending Anderson to the line for 3.
Unfortunately, in that situation, that's like a double error because you don't want to foul a 3-point shooter, especially shot clock going down. Even though Anderson made a 3, that's not necessarily his strength. Just close out under control, chop your feet, get 2 hands up, and make him shoot over the top.
84% free throw shooter, and Western Kentucky year in, year out leads Conference USA in free throw shooting, part of the winning strategy for Rick Stansbury. And now Anderson with a chance at 3.
Those kind of plays makes a coach want to jump out of his skin. You know why? I've been there before.
You've been in the shoes, the skin, all of it. Last year's Conference USA Coach of the Year, Grant McCaslin. Now Bassey back in the game with 4 personal fouls. So North Texas needs a bucket, and they would take an opportunity to get Bassey out of the game. 2:56 to go. Can Western Kentucky close it out? Javion Hamlet hasn't scored in the second half, and this is part of the woes for the Mean Green. Only 7 second-half points as a team. So Western Kentucky D'ing it up in the second half on Javion Hamlet and the rest of the Mean Green.
Yeah, you definitely get to a point of no return when you're trying to go at Bassey. Give Hollingsworth credit. They know Hamlet wants to get to his left side. Just relentless defense. You can see all 5 guys swarming to the ball. And Coach Grant McCaslin talked about getting in that situation and shot faking and making the short pass or kicking the ball out. They haven't done it consistently enough here in the second half.
So if you're North Texas on this obviously critical possession, especially with Bassey with 4 fouls, how do you get something going for the Mean Green offense?
Well, I don't think Reese has gotten enough looks, especially here in the second half. He's 2 for 4 from the three-point line. So I would look to try to run some sort of action for James Reese and get him a look. Tried to set up the back pick lob. Western Kentucky jumps out into a zone which surprised North Texas. And sometimes when you come out of these timeouts, you got to have a man-to-man play and a zone player. Otherwise, you're going to be late in the shot clock, which is where North Texas is headed right now.
Precious seconds too. Hamlet, runner, over McKnight. First bucket of the second half when the Mean Green needed it from Javion Hamlet, with Dad Lewis trying to root on another comeback.
Wow, what a game. Look like Western Kentucky is going to try to eat up some clock here.
Take it down under 2 minutes.
Looking to get Bassey on the deep post up.
Instead, Bassey comes out to screen with 3 to shoot, rolls, takes it. Boarded by Reese. Back comes North Texas.
And sometimes that's the chance you take when you try to take the air out of the ball a little bit.
Hamlet, Anderson poked it away. Bassey there to pick it up. Anderson makes the defensive play.
The clock is Western Kentucky's friend, but they need to get in a little bit of a rhythm here offensively.
Anderson down the baseline. Can't hit the shot, but the foul is called, and it is on Simmons. Anderson hits the deck again. Now he's holding the right leg, but we got... It's Anderson offensive foul. This is getting tough to keep up with the physicality of this one right now. They are going to get offensive foul on Anderson. Wow. That's a huge call.
The one thing in this situation when you're up by 5, you really don't want to bring refereeing into the game or luck. When you drive, go around the big guy here. Look at Bassey's open.
And, I mean, that's a tough offensive foul. It is offensive foul on Anderson, so it's turnover Western Kentucky with 1:34, giving it back to North Texas. Obviously, Anderson hits the deck.
And you can see Coach Stansberry, he's demonstrating what he wants to see on those situations. What he was demonstrating was when you drive, you saw when his hand went up, he's saying throw the lob to Bassey. You've done your job.
You know, I'm not even sure what they were taking a look at, but this is, I mean, Rick Stansberry is not letting this one go, and that was very consequential. I think he was maybe arguing about the block charge circle, but regardless, it is offensive foul charge on Anderson. That's the call. North Texas gets the basketball back, and can the Mean Green take advantage of the opportunity now?
We'll see if the Mean Green can capitalize on outstanding defense on that last possession. Here's the fake slip screen for Hamlet. Slip out, and now he's trying to get downhill.
Off the shot fake. Hamlet taken away. Hollingsworth. Loose ball. McBride has it. Western Kentucky brings it back. Toppers get the stop. Foul committed by Simmons. And now Hollingsworth is slow getting up.
Give Western Kentucky credit on this last defensive play, especially against Hamlet. Basically showing 2 guys there surrounding him.
Again, credit Western Kentucky's defense in this second half, holding North Texas to 9 second half points.
So it wasn't quite a trap, it was more of a soft containing, not the full all-out trap, but it's kind of a zone trap there on that last possession.
McKnight misses the front end, basically turnover Western Kentucky. Bring it back North Texas. Hamlet. Into the hands of Simmons. Back to Hamlet. Inside of a minute, Hamlet kick. McBride off the shot fake. In tight. Simmons floats it over Bassey. Timeout North Texas to draw it up with 52.7 in what is now a 3-point game. Less than a minute to go. Avery, walk us through the strategy the last 52.7 in a 3-point game.
Well, for Western Kentucky, you got to make sure that you space the floor properly. North Texas potentially will trap you here, but they're not trying to foul. So you have to just make sure you execute your press offense, get the ball in, make sure the floor is spaced. Don't put yourself in a situation where you can force yourself into a jump ball.
Trouble getting it in. McKnight in the corner, trapped. Back into the hands of Rolls.
Now North Texas needs to play defense without fouling. There's no need to foul here. And then make sure you box out. You don't want to give Western Kentucky any second chance opportunities or offensive rebounds.
Off the screen from Bassey. Hollingsworth inside of 10. Stops, he lost it, he traveled back to North Texas with 30 seconds to go, down by only 3.
Beautifully executed defense by Simmons. He didn't foul him. He beat Hollingsworth to the spot.
Here we go with the shot clock turned off. North Texas down by 3. In Hamlet's hands. Kick out, McBride, triple the tie. And he drills it, even at 48.
Beautiful read by the leader of North Texas. Hamlet got downhill with his left hand. They're on the 7-0 run right now, but it's all about the maestro right now. Beautiful play coming out of the timeout by Coach Grant McCaslin. They knew exactly what they wanted on that play.
A game of wild swings. North Texas up by 17. Then Western Kentucky charges back to take the lead. And now 7 straight for North Texas to even it again. Both teams seeking their first Conference USA championship.
And you didn't necessarily need a 3. They wanted to get the best shot. But then you got to pull something out your back pocket. We haven't really seen that one in terms of, you know, them setting the pick and roll. A lot of times in the middle pick and roll, they'll slip it. But that time, you know, McBride set it and picked and popped, cleared out the backside.
All right, where do you go here for Western Kentucky? 22-second shot clock turned off, chance to win it.
Well, you have to make a decision. Are you going to try to force feed Bassey, or are you going to try to run some sort of a decoy? But you got to have your best offensive team on the floor right now.
No timeouts left for North Texas, 2 for Western Kentucky. Nobody has a foul to give. Western Kentucky now in the offensive drought. No field goals in almost 5 minutes. Plus the free throw miss from McKnight on the front end of the 1-and-1. With 22 seconds to go, the Conference USA Championship and a spot in the NCAA tournament in the balance in the first meeting of the year between North Texas and Western Kentucky, and it's delivered.
And if the ball goes into Bassey, what kind of decision is North Texas going to make? Are they going to double team? Or are they going to run some sort of decoy to try to get McKnight down?
Here's Rawls. Seconds taken away. Rawls. Bassey couldn't hang on, and North Texas will have a chance to win it with 3.3 as the Hilltoppers turn it over.
In that situation, really, it was, you didn't really have to drive. Just throw the ball to Bassey. When Rawls came off and caught the basketball, just throw it inside. There's no need to even dribble. Bassey was open. He missed him.
So we go to the monitor here to just double check the clock. So this is not possession, this is all about the clock. So watch Jeb Hartness over there. He's right on top of it. I mean, literally on the baseline. So clarifying that they want to take a look at when the ball hits, but it was right around 3.3. And the clear question here, how does North Texas get Javion Hamlet a look to win it with a Cinderella story for the Mean Green?
They'll probably start him somewhere around the free throw line. Sometimes what Coach Grant McCaslin likes in this situation is for Hamlin to take the ball out and maybe pitch it in and somebody flips it right back to him and get him on the move.
3.7.
There's plenty of time. They'll run Bell up and try to flip it right back to Hamlet. Here
Bell
it is.
back to Hamlet. Quick touch. Hamlet's going to bring it down for the win. Hamlet! And we are headed to overtime. Nothing determined in regulation between the Mean Green and the Hilltoppers. A wild regulation from 17 down. Western Kentucky comes back.
Well executed play. Got the ball in the Bell. Probably wanted Hamlin to get more to the left side of the floor instead of the right side of the floor here.
Seven straight in the end for North Texas. We are headed to overtime for the Conference USA Championship. North Texas last year, regular season champs, didn't get to play in the tournament. So it was back to take advantage of opportunities like this. The huge tying three from McBride, and then a look at the end to win it, but this one from McBride is the reason why we are headed to overtime. Western Kentucky had their chance off of Charles Bassey's hand, and yet will run it back and play OT for a spot in the madness. For Western Kentucky and North Texas, I mean, the meetings in February were canceled, so this is the first time it's been Charles Bassey and Western Kentucky versus Javion Hamlet and North Texas, the last two Conference USA Players of the Year. Both teams, huge comeback efforts to get to this point, overtime for the CUSA Championship.
You remember the old legendary tennis player Arthur Ashe?
Sure.
Every time he hit the ball out or into the net, he said next point. You got to have next point mentality. You got to have short-term memory. It's all over. It's basically 0-0, even though it's 48-48. And you got to be ready to just make plays.
Rawls ready to make plays at OT.
And Rawls said, your wish is my command. Western Kentucky fans, I'm ready to make plays.
How much fun is this? Championship game, overtime, March.
We talked about it yesterday. There are no ugly wins. A win is a win.
Two teams with stories to tell. Simmons in tight on Bassey. Takes it right at him. Bassey had to back off with 4 fouls. Western Kentucky, third straight trip to the CUSA title game. They lost the last 2. North Texas robbed with a chance to win it last year.
Western Kentucky looks a little discombobulated on offense, deep into the shot clock.
Rawls gets a screen from Bassey, tries to dump it back. Anderson didn't get it off. Shot clock violation, wasted trip for the Hilltoppers.
And basically got away with a moving screen on Bassey. That was a moving screen. That would have been his 5th foul. Guards are going to have to wait until he gets set on those pick and roll situations, which may not be a good idea to use him in pick and rolls just in case he picks up a foul.
Hamlet guarded by the freshman McKnight.
You see they're trying to go inside to Simmons.
Instead back to Hamlet. Shot clock winding down again. Hamlet shot fake. Bassey, that's goaltending. Count the bucket. North Texas on top.
We talked about it in the pregame. When Hamlet gets downhill going right, he's going to spin back over his right shoulder to get back to his left hand.
It felt like the hesitation was just enough. Jareem Dowling, North Texas assistant, trying to get the Mean Green fans fired up. Bassey fouled by Simmons.
Boy, Bassey must have a little bit of a lucky charm in his bag in the locker room because he's gotten away with an offensive foul a moving screen, and that display could have very well been an offensive foul because he dislodged on Simmons inside on that post-up.
Western Kentucky 13 of 16 from the line, but a consequential miss on the front end of a 1-and-1. Bassey makes the first free throw of OT. That was the fourth personal on Zachary Simmons, so both he and Bassey are banging with 4 personal fouls.
I was about to say, don't you love big guys that can shoot and make their free throws? And I didn't want to jinx them.
You waited, Avery. I'm sure Charles Bassey and the Hilltoppers appreciate it.
There's no quit in either one of these teams. Either one will be really dangerous come NCAA tournament time. You don't want to match up with them in the tournament.
Simmons, shot faking around on Bassey again. Give it up, McBride off the bounce. McBride, kick, Bell. Big one from Thomas Bell.
Wow. Better late than never. Bell's been struggling shooting the basketball. Did you see Coach Grant? He thought he was a football player. He almost tackled Bell, which would have been a bad idea.
Bassey wants it. The D sucks in around him. McKnight gives it up late. Anderson, seconds ticking away. Rolls, tough. Oh, off the window, Jordan rolls. Western Kentucky evens it again.
And North Texas, they're sending Western Kentucky a message that you're not going to post up Bassey. You have to go somewhere else for offense.
Hamlet. Kick it back out. 3 to shoot. Javion Hamlet. Did he wipe it out? Foul with 1 second showing on the shot clock.
But McKnight plays some terrific defense, but here's Rawls. The bank is open. Tough shot.
Fouls on McKnight, his third, 1-and-1 coming.
Good substitution here by Coach Stansbury, getting Carson Williams back in the game. Try to get some more scoring.
Hamlet hits the front end. North Texas back on top with 1:23. So the most significant foul trouble, the big men. Simmons with 4, Bassey with 4. Got them both.
You know, here you can play middle pick and roll with Bassey, and he doesn't have to pop to the three-point line. Here's your high-low.
Denying Williams on the post. Hollingsworth comes back to get it. Hollingsworth in the lane. Foul called, sending Hollingsworth to the line with a chance to even it with a minute to go in OT.
You see Rawls on the last possession, makes a tough bank shot. Now Hollingsworth. And why is that? There's no passing angles in the Bassey. Simmons fronted the post. Their spacing was poor.
4th personal foul on James Reese, best shooter from North Texas.
Now a little,
yeah, Williams out, McKnight in.
Yeah, a little offense defense here.
Hollingsworth gets them both. Even again.
One team, this is their 3rd straight game, and North Texas their 4th straight game. They're laying it on the line. These teams are playing with a lot of heart here. Nobody wants to lose.
4 flat, all about Javion Hamlet. With a freshman McKnight guarding him. Hamlet goes to work, floats it. Off the window, Simmons couldn't corral it. Anderson runs it down, throws it out of bounds. Who touched it? Off Western Kentucky. Mean green ball with 32 ticks.
Woo, Hamlet had Reese wide open for a 3. Right at the last minute there. I think that's probably what the coaching staff is going to talk to him about. Kicking it out on those drives.
And you see the shot clock goes to 20. So saying Western Kentucky didn't have possession. So that's a key point there. 20 seconds on the shot clock for North Texas, but it's not like they can run it down.
Bell's 1 for 7 from the three-point line. He made a big one. So let's see if maybe if he's open again, if he can knock another one down. Here it is again, isolation. Little slip here.
Hamlin nearly lost it. McKnight teeing him up. 6 to shoot. Hamlin on the freshman McKnight. Crossover floater. This time, it is all Javion. North Texas takes the lead with 13.9. The fifth-year senior from Memphis. It is all heart Javion Hamlin. He's a March hero already. Now can the Mean Green get the stop to win it? The go-ahead bucket from Javion Hamlin. Now the pressure turns to Western Kentucky with 13.9 after this tough make.
Very tough floater. You think the student body, 35 North in Denton, on North Texas campus, they weren't going crazy. Look at Dad. Come on, Dad. Hang in there.
Get the paddles ready. Get the paddles ready. Does it feel like March? Javion Hamlin wants his spot in the madness.
And it's not only March Madness, it's March Gladness, because we didn't have this last year.
Oh, we love it. It feels so good. It feels so good. All right, now timeout, and that's going to be a full timeout. So, all right, we're going to go back to the 2010 Sun Belt Championship because that's the last time that North Texas was in the madness. Hot Springs, Arkansas. Johnny Jones.
Johnny Jones.
Oh, Eric Trammell tournament MVP honors North Texas won 66-63. 15 seed against Kansas State. This would be just the fourth trip, first since 2010 when they won the Sun Belt tourney. So now for Western Kentucky, how do you get the best look to tie it or win it with a three?
Well, they're going to try to get the best shot here. It just depends on what they want to do with Bassey. I think that's going to be the key. And what 5 guys are Western Kentucky going to utilize on offense? Because, you know, in this situation, you have to be able to spread the floor, especially if one of the players drive, or if Bassey is fortunate enough to get the ball on the post, that he has room to operate. I would like to see Frampton in the game here. So let's see if Coach Stansbury going to include him with this team.
Yes, he is.
Okay.
Frampton, best shooters on the floor. All down to this.
North Texas prides themselves on defense, so let's see if they can get one stop to go to the big dance.
Hollingsworth off the bounce, around Reese. Hollingsworth in time, rejected! And it's taken away by Reese. Bassey commits the foul. Mean Green Bull, 2.5. Bassey has fouled out. And the North Texas fans begin the celebration.
Wow, this nice isolation. Slip pick by Bassey. Hollingsworth down the court. It wasn't so much Bell. I think they thought that Reese maybe got him from behind, but no, that looked pretty good from here.
Bassey fouls out. Double-double, 13 points, 11 rebounds. It was a second half double-double, too, for Bassey. All of that after halftime.
But you remember, when we talked to Coach Grant McCaslin, he's always talking about championship after every practice, every film session, every shoot-around, on the airplane, going to road trips, bus trips. It's all about winning this Conference USA Tournament championship.
Reese. Three-point game. Rand McCaslin said, let's value what we have today, rather than using last year as motivation or an excuse. And what they have today is 2.5 seconds away from a Conference USA championship. And now, with zeros on the clock, it is official. The Mean Green are in the madness. Champions of Conference USA, an overtime win.
Let the party start.
Javion's looking for his dad, Lewis.
Wow, we missed this type of emotion last year. Oh, this is a beautiful feeling to see the tears, the excitement, the Mean Green faithful. It's a party at the Ford Center tonight, Carter.
Gotta let it all out. This is a year plus of emotions almost beyond belief, all coming out.
Interruptions in your season, postponed games, cancellations, no excuses from the Mean Green. They just kept on playing. Javion Hamlet. Wow, what a performance.
He made it out. You know, that man he's hugging right there, Jareem Dowling, is the man who recruited him. He made it out of Memphis. He made it to North Texas. And now he's made it into the madness. Another heartbreaking loss for Western Kentucky. But it's North Texas, champions of Conference USA, with hearts pounding here at the Star in Frisco. We're back here in a bit with a Conference USA trophy presentation. Now we'll send it back to Adam and the gang in the studio.